All right, we're live, and we've made it just in time. Gabriel, sir, how you doing?
Hello?
Hello, hello. So this is like the first show we've done where we haven't had like a little pre-chat before, so we're
Yeah, we're just we're winging it. So
winging
today's
it.
show is on. What's today's show on? I don't
I
know.
think today we're talking about talking about our photo review for the theme Panorama. Some awesome shots were submitted this week. Thank you so much to everybody who took the time to make photos for our photo challenge. It's a pretty cool theme, I think. Last week's show, Gabe, you were awesome. Thank you. Having you on
Thank
and
you.
talking about all the panoramic stuff. Don was on as well. It's interesting conversation. I think we gave some decent nuggets or two or three or four nuggets of information that hopefully
Three.
people learn something from. You think only three?
Just three.
Well, that's a good week for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great that we were able to do the show and talk about panoramic photography. Now, we did have a question. Apparently, Gabriel, you were so awesome last week that some people didn't think I was even on the show, which was interesting.
Oh.
Rod Loxton made the comment, great panorama show with Don Komarechka and Gabriel Bousquet. I lost my connection, but I have a question. So we'll get to that question in just a few seconds. But
Okay. Yeah, Brian just pushes the buttons. You know, I'm the talent. He's the looks.
So I've been told. It's okay. I can deal with that. I've been called worse things, and probably will be worse things in the future. But that's okay. So panoramic photography. Now I know, Gabe, you've been camping lately, haven't you?
Yes.
Did you do any pano stuff?
Yeah, I did some. I've just basically I brought my camera last time as well, and just using my phone for everything. Yeah, I just did some basic panos of the beach and
Stuff.
nothing. Yeah. Actually, I got one kind of cool shot. Pull it up here.
Have you noticed that most of the panos you're doing these days are with your phone?
Yeah, well, I'd say 99% of the photography that I'm doing these days is with my phone.
Wow.
So, yeah, no, I mean, I've been really, really impressed with this phone and really enjoying using it. So, I'm going to scroll through this stuff, and I apologize if there's anything that pops up that's untoward or, but it's all pretty,
It's all pretty.
safe for work. So, this was with my phone.
That is awesome. I saw you post this shot and the detail you're getting from that phone.
It's amazing. And you have to, a few other people took pictures of it, and then I showed them mine, and they're like, "Oh my God!" Because it's about getting low. The S6 has a 1.9 f1.9, so it's like really, really good depth of field and stuff, and it has a pro mode. And so you have to know how to go into that.
Well, what do you mean pro mode? Does that let you do manual controls and stuff?
Yeah, lets you set the exposure balance, lets you set the manual focus, everything like that. Excuse me. This was what we thought was a beautiful mist rolling through the forest. Turns out somebody just threw like a tire or something like that onto the campfire. So we're like, it's so pretty. Oh no, guys, let's look at it here.
We're gonna die.
While I was taking that picture, I took a panoramic, six square panoramic, like that. So now you can see it kind of messed up a little bit there. But this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So actually a nine picture panoramic, and it gave me sort of a much wider view of that scene.
Yeah,
so
that's the one thing when you're doing it on your phone, you can't necessarily have control over how those layers overlap and line up.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So I've been there we go.
Follow me on Facebook.
All the music that I listen to, I love like house and trance and all that kind of music, but all the really and I was surprised to find this out. All the really, really good music, all the really good mixes are all on YouTube, and like this is a 5-hour and 10-minute mix, right? Wow. And like every minute of it is good, but they don't put up like just pictures of dandelions. Every single one of them has these pictures of ridiculously hot women wearing pretty much next to nothing. So, I pull up my YouTube history in front of a customer to show them something. They're like, really? I'm like, oh, it's just music, man. I can't help what they put as a thumbnail.
What can you do? What can you do? Oh, well. All right. Well, that's cool.
All right. So that was my panoramic stuff. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of it off the phone, and like you were saying, you don't get 100% control, but a lot of it is if you, what we were talking about last week, the nodal point actually matters. And so if you concentrate on the nodal point on the handheld, the cell phone, this thing, the camera phone, it actually makes a big difference. So it's fun.
That's interesting, and that's some of the things that people don't think about, like where you have your sensor, where your lens is. If you're turning at the wrong point, you have issues. And actually, that's one of the comments I'm going to have on one of the photos that we see in our review today. But before we get to that, still waiting to see if Navi ever shows up, because you just never know with her. And also, well, I shouldn't say it that way. It was more of a... Hang on a second. Let me get my foot and put it up. Here we go.
Right,
no,
you can do it.
No, I mean, she's around somewhere. We just have to see if she's going to come into the hangout tonight. Also, the Don Komarechka session. We have a macro class with Don Komarechka coming up. We set up one of them. It sold within 24 hours. We had to set up a second one. It sold just about as fast. So I talked with Don, and I convinced him that maybe we should do a third one. And we are doing a third one. So September 1st is going to be the date of the third and final. And it's the final of the year because the flowers are going to go. I mean, the whole thing is in his gardens, right? So if it's too late in the season and the flowers start to disappear and dry up and die, that's not what we're looking for this kind of thing. So September 1st, the last one. If anybody's interested, please let us know right away. And we're going to be putting that up on the website as of tomorrow morning for people to register.
Sweet.
Yeah. Also, let's see here. Oh, we're going to talk about some photos. But first, I just have to remind everybody, if you're watching this right now on YouTube, please click the little like button. We love seeing that. Also, subscribe to our channel. That way, every time we do a new episode, you can get notice of it right away. I went through earlier and updated the playlist for the show. So ultimately, every single show is in the playlist right now. So if you just go to the Daytripper Photo Show playlist on the YouTube page, every show is there. It's easy to get to. Also, join the community. The community on Google+, that's pretty much where everything happens. Every time we have a special event like this Don Komarechka session, we usually give advance notice through the community, so everybody there has an opportunity to register first. And also, with any kind of changes to the expo, which there may be some changes to the expo, more announcements on that soon. That will be announced through the community first as well. So if you want to check it out, Daytripper Photo on Google+, the community, it's private, it's safe, and everybody can enjoy themselves there and not have to worry about their pictures being stolen, because we all hate that, pictures being stolen. Speaking of pictures being stolen, I had an email today, or the other day, yesterday I think it was, from The Amazing Race.
Oh.
The Amazing Race Canada wants to use a picture or two of mine for an upcoming episode with the Flatliners that are in it, my buddies, the wrestlers.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. They're even paying me for it, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
I'm impressed, yeah. So anyway, thank you to The Amazing Race, and good luck to the Flatliners. Nick and Matt, the guys that we know, wrestlers from Barrie Wrestling and all over the place. They've wrestled everywhere in the States. They've even been Dr. Michael Kirschenbaum in WWE one time. But these guys are working hard. They're doing the Amazing Race Canada, and they're doing really well at it. So good luck to you guys. That pisses me off about that is they already know if they won or not, but they can't say anything.
Right.
Because it was recorded a while ago. Anyway.
Yeah.
But good luck to them.
Reality TV.
Exactly. All right, so let's see. We've got some people that are saying hi in the Q&A. Mark Flinders, Joseph Leduc, and Tammy Martino. Hello to you all. Mark is watching us from Thunder Bay tonight. That guy is everywhere.
Oh, cool.
One minute he's in Sudbury and Thunder Bay and then North Bay. Awesome. Very cool. Also, quick shout out to Lens Pen. Guys, you are so helpful to everything we do. I just found another new use for my lens pen. The micro pen, you know, those little guys, these things right here. This is a moneymaker kit that I've modified, by the way. This is the micro pen. Awesome, awesome, awesome pen for cleaning my webcam. I did a whole clean of my station here, and that webcam was filthy. So yeah, very cool. All right, so that's actually part of our prize package for the photo contest tonight, by the way. One of the prizes will be the Moneymaker kit. This is
I was going to make some sort of joke about why is your webcam so filthy? What are you doing at your computer? But I just checked that my webcam is filthy. Like, oh, okay. No, they actually get filthy.
I was just listening to YouTube music, man. What's the problem?
I like cleaning my my camera live on air.
Yeah, it's
the joys of live TV.
I've got it locked on you too, actually.
Oh my gosh, I'm so much handsomer now.
When you're focused. Ah, damn.
No, still ugly.
Oh, Andrea, hey, thank you for watching as well. Andrea submitted a photo for our photo challenge this week. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Actually, we've had a really good turnout for the photo challenges the past couple weeks. Mm-hmm. Thank you all so much. You know, it might sound silly. You see people with photo challenges out there all the time, and we review challenges. I totally appreciate the time it takes for you guys to make these photos, and then think, hey, let's share it with Daytripper. So good on you. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it.
You made the right decision.
Pardon me?
You made the right decision.
Oh, yes, definitely the right decision. As opposed to jumping off a cliff. That's
as opposed to not sharing it. That would be the wrong decision.
Well, thank you for making the right decision. Make good choices, people. Make good choices. That's from Pitch Perfect.
Unless you're in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, and nobody would know about it because it apparently stays there.
No, it's a funny thing. The tour guide, when we were going there, he's like, yeah, they say what stays in Vegas, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Turns out criminal records go outside of Vegas, so maybe you just want to keep it a little bit calm.
Yeah. It comes a point, right? It always comes a point. Everything within moderation, Gabriel.
Exactly.
No matter what they told you when you entered the city. Okay, so... All right. Panoramic photography. We got a lot of pictures to go through, so why don't we jump on into it? Navi apparently is driving home right now, so she's not just kind of watching us and laughing, which is nice.
She is watching us and laughing, but she's also driving home.
Fair enough. Okay, so we've got a bunch of shots. Since you're sharing already, I guess you're going to do the screen share for tonight.
Why don't I do the screen share? Seems how I'm sharing already.
Okay, good thinking. So,
all right.
Is that one of them?
Is this
I think that was from Fireworks.
Oh yes. Well, that would make it just seemed a little, wider than normal, so I thought maybe it was a panorama.
You're right, and maybe it is. I don't know. I don't think so. All right, so here we are.
Maybe that way.
All right. Got nothing on that. All right, so Rosemary, this is your shot. Thank you so much. I love cottage photos, and every time I'm at the cottage, the first thing I have to do is get down to the beach and make a pano because it's always so pretty and so welcoming, and the bigger it feels, the more it invites you in. Isn't that true? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Like Ron Burgundy in the back. Yes, you are right. You elaborate on that? Nope.
Nope.
Whiskey.
I like whiskey. All right. I don't have any, so I'm drinking water tonight. But
okay.
Let's get back. I got a question for you, though, Gabe. Can you see what I see in this photo?
Brian, yes, I see what you see.
All right. So, first of all, the landscape is great. Having the land border it on the left and right keeps your eye going to the center, and even the dock dead center works for me. It'd be nice, possibly, if it were maybe a little bit lower so that the dock seemed longer. Or
yes. Okay.
Or Rosemary, just get out there and build more onto the dock. That'd be cool.
Yeah, come on, sacrifice for your art.
That's what you got to do. No, I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, perspective might have helped a little different, right? Get that longer feel to the dock, or even have the is that a paddle boat or a regular boat there? Yeah,
looks like a paddle boat.
Have that maybe more of a foreground feature. But realistically, or ultimately, I like the shot, very clean. You do see either an exposure difference or a merge difference, or both.
Yeah. Now, this was taken with a T2i, So it was probably processed in Photoshop or Lightroom or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so along here,
Yeah.
going down here, you can see some blending issues, and then also along here, you can see some blending issues. Now, and yeah, and then you can also see a difference in the texture in the water here, here, and here. So it looks like, to me, I would say this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 4 or 5, pictures blended together, and for some reason the middle. Now I'm wondering if this was exposure was.
I have a couple theories on this. My first thought is this is a Sigma 10 to 20, and generally, if I'm using that lens, I love to use a circular polarizer. And when you do that, and you do a panoramic, sometimes you get a different pattern, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking maybe a polarized filter was on, and it was set to some auto exposure, like aperture priority, or I don't know if it says through the EXIF there if we can see that, but
you see, that's the thing. All the EXIF is here. It's saying f9, 1/60th of a second, ISO 100, and usually if it's a panoramic shot and you're merging multiple shots together, usually it doesn't keep that information. Right? So part of me is wondering if this was, shot at 10 millimeters and then just cropped to be wider than normal, but then that wouldn't explain the banding that I'm seeing there, unless that's like an uploading and compression error.
I'm pretty sure it was a pano, and it's just like sometimes when you make an HDR, the EXIF from one of the files is used.
Oh yeah, you know what? It is, yeah, because you can see the boards on the dock here don't match up properly.
Right. So it's a tough thing, and we're going to see a lot of examples of panoramics that are done where all those lines are consistent and so on. I think a few things to think about, and these are things that we talked about on the show. Keep your exposure on manual so that the settings aren't changing from photo to photo.
Right.
And take off circular polarized filters if you're using them, because that may have given some sort of striation to the edges that were blended, which would have made it harder to actually merge. Otherwise, I would have done exactly the same thing, merge it in that spot. I want to go there. I want to jump off the dock right now, actually.
Yeah, I like the sun flare on the one side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a nice picture. It's that extra 5%. You know, the editing is the extra 5% that turns the picture from, like, this is a nice picture, but if it was merged flawlessly, it would be a dynamite picture. And the other thing too is, let's say you were to throw this in the Lightroom and you were to adjust the contrast, right? Well, I mean, you're probably a stop, maybe even 2 stops brighter over here than it is over here. So you adjust the contrast. This is going way down, and this is hardly getting touched at all. So if all your panels are matching, it gives you a lot more flexibility in your post-processing.
Absolutely. Good point. Well said. Awesome. Okay, so thanks, Rosemary, for posting that. Now, you said earlier that where you are right now has pretty slow internet. So if you're watching, well done. Thank you for submitting. If you can, use the Q&A, and so can everybody else who's watching right now. The Q&A is part of this Hangout. So if you have anything to share with us, any comments you'd like to make about the photos you're seeing, along the left side of the window, if you just have your mouse over it, there'll be a Q&A icon. Click on that. Along the right side, you'll be able to make your comments like we've had some folks already do tonight, and get your say in what we're talking about. So please feel free. Rosemary, if you can chime in, go ahead and tell us what you're thinking. And from there forward, we're just going to keep on going. So let's see what we have next. Julie. Okay, so Julie has merged 13 photos here.
Wow.
And you can see how you don't see any stitching. You don't see that at all. I've tried zooming in on this, and
it's a small.
Yeah, it's just a smaller version. But with the 13 photo pano, I mean, you'd be able to, if this was full res, you could zoom in to see what's in those windows on the building on the left. I mean, that's one of the huge benefits to shooting so many photos in a panoramic, is it gives you a lot more detail to work with. You can zoom in more, you can crop more, you can adjust your settings more, and you can print it huge. I mean, you could probably print this photo with her camera. It's probably a 5D Mark III she used for that. 13 photos at that many pixels. I mean, you could print this on the side of a warehouse if you wanted to.
or a bus,
Even.
and then have somebody rejected from a stock photography thing.
You're mocking me, aren't you?
I am. No, I like this. It's nice. It's colorful. It's gives an idea of where it's taken without giving it all away. You got a little bit of the looks like a kind of clubhouse sort of thing off to the left, and then some nice islands, which is cool. And another thing I like about this is that it has a what's the name of those now? Wow, just words are just completely escaping me tonight.
Watermark?
The watermark, yeah, the watermark that doesn't take away from the image.
It's very tasteful.
Yeah, it's a nice, tasteful image. It's tucked away in the corner. It's probably even looks a little see-through, and yeah, it doesn't draw your eyes away from the image.
No, I thought about that too. I also think that the exposure is great. Like, even on the islands, you could see the detail in the trees. And,
yeah, it almost looks like an HDR panoramic.
God, can you imagine 13 photos HDR'd with 5 images each? That's something like Don Komarechka would do.
Yeah.
And
it's like almost 15 photos. Oh, probably more than that, actually.
If it's yeah, probably. I do the good math. That was awesome. Yeah,
I go all the way to grade 3 for nothing.
All right, so awesome shot, very well done, good panoramic, and I just think it's a great job.
And we got a little seagull off to the corner there.
Oh,
you just tucked the seagull in there. So, I like that.
Oh, sitting on the ledge. Interesting.
Yeah, right off in the corner.
See, that's something I like about panoramics. If you dig into them, you can find so many little details because it covers so much ground.
It's a panoramic Easter egg.
Exactly. Okay, so Mark submitted 2 shots. Actually, I'm glad you showed this one because this is the one I was wanting to talk about.
Okay.
This is from the Screaming Heads up in Berks Falls. We've run day trips there, 3 of them or so, and it's an amazing place. If anybody wants to go and shoot something unique and different, this is unique and different. I think you'd enjoy it. You were with us on these trips, weren't you?
Yeah. I was expecting some sort of surprise, but no, the place called Screaming Heads is literally just filled with screaming heads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there was a surprise. You didn't run into the surprise?
Not sure if I remember the surprise.
Okay, next part of the conversation. So,
I like all the domes and stuff in the background. And that's a frisbee golf site too, right?
Yeah, frisbee golf. They do all kinds of stuff in the fields, hundreds of acres of land. Some of these statues are upwards of 20 feet tall. And he has them all positioned in strategic places. Like it's pretty interesting, and I think you should check it out. The big surprise to me was inside the house. That's what I was thinking. The witch's attic and all the bell tower, these creepy buildings that we were allowed to get into, which he probably doesn't let too many people in anymore. But interesting place, interesting guy, and I definitely recommend people go there. And as far as the photo goes, excellent place for panoramic shots. Yeah. It's just so interesting. And as I was saying before, if you keep looking into the shot, you'll find stuff like crazy. Like Gabriel suggested, those big domes. They have an annual event every year. It's a huge party, I guess you could say, a summer festival. And thousands of people show up, and there's not discos. God, I'm dating myself. Raves that they put on inside those domes. They cover the domes with tarps, and they literally have a big rave inside those domes. And it's just camping all weekend long. It's crazy.
It's like Burning Man North.
It's pretty much just like that, you know. It's
right.
Very, very much like Burning Man, but I don't think things get burned.
Oh.
Yeah. Other than that, it's exactly like Burning Man.
Fire Safety North. Fire Safety Man.
I don't think that's their theme, but Fire Safety Man would be proud. Yeah.
Yeah. As for the actual panoramic itself, it's great. Yeah, it incorporates a whole bunch of different aspects of the theme park.
It's not really a theme park.
Sure. No, not really. But for lack of a better term, we'll
landscape.
Go with that.
The
landscape. Sure. Features.
Yeah. I think it's great how you could see the shadows from the clouds as well, and the light shadows.
Good dynamic range.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So yeah.
Anything else to add on it?
I do not.
Then we shall move forward. Thanks, Mark.
Are we just going to do one of them, or
just do one? Yeah. The other one's very nice, and I do recommend people go to the community to check them out because the place is interesting, and Mark just happened to pass through and stop off there and check it out. So see his experience; it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Andrea, I'm not positive. Is this Andrea's first time submitting for our challenge? Maybe first or second, something like that. But I believe she's watching tonight. She's already said hello. So first of all, my general thoughts on your shot, Andrea. Excellent work. One thing that you mentioned.
Oh, hold on. When was this taken?
Oh.
Because the leaves are changing. Okay, because I'm like, if those leaves are changing already, I'm eating my gun. Because summer is not over.
Good eye, Gabriel. Yes, this photo challenge is for new photos. Photos made for the challenge. So, love it. And I was going to say.
Beautiful photo. It incorporates all that is terrible of the world, the changing leaves. But it's great. No, it's a beautiful photo, but it does have to be recent to qualify for
unfortunately,
the challenge.
But great shot. And just since it's up here, you said that you had some problems with the clouds and the lines. I think you did very well with that challenge. The clouds are nice and smoothly merged. The lines, I looked hard and I couldn't see any breaks in the lines in the fields. And I do like that you used the bales of hay in the foreground. And
rubbing off on you.
All right, but good eye there, Gabriel, because I did not know that was an older shot.
She tried to distract me with windmills because everybody knows my fondness for windmills. But nope. You gotta get up pretty early in the morning. Sneak one past this guy.
I did not know your fondness for windmills.
Oh, I love windmills. I think they're awesome.
I should hook you up with Glenn Hubbers. Maybe get you up on the top of a windmill.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. We'll talk to Glenn.
All right.
Oh, no. We can still talk about it, though, no? Yes, Andrea. And we did talk about it just a little bit. It was very nice. Thank you very much.
We appreciate your submission.
Yes, we do. All right. So here's one from Martin. Next page. There we go. The Halliburton sunset. This is an interesting shot. This was new, isn't it? Just to be sure.
Photo details.
Now I'm all paranoid.
15.
7?
Yes.
Yes, new.
We're in 7.
We are still 7. Okay, so just to clarify on that point, we love people submitting for our challenge, but the idea of the photo challenges are to get people making more photos, to take what we've talked about, apply it to something that you want to submit specifically for the challenge. Going into the archives isn't something we've ever done. However, coming up, we have a special, not this week, but next photo challenge will be pick your favorite photo. And we will critique your all-time favorite photo that you've ever made. So not this challenge we're issuing tonight, but the next photo challenge we issue will literally be your favorite photo of your own.
That's just mean. That's so hard.
I know, right? I know, but now we're going to really see the people's personalities, right? We're going to see, this is what I really like to do. This is what I love. It'd be cool. I don't know why I said it that way.
Awesome.
I love. Okay, back to Martin's photo. Okay. Sorry about that, Martin. I love the shot. Great color. I love the glow you have in the sun in the background. It's saturated, but not too much.
Halliburton sunset.
Yes. I love how the sunset light is just hitting the city in the middle, and all the trees around the border are nice and dark. I think there's really nice contrast there. But you can see the detail in the city, but the trees in that are still, they're there, they're bordering. You can see them, but that's not the story. You know what I mean, Vern?
I know what you mean.
Sorry, I'm just reading Andrea's comment. I'm sorry, I had no idea, and I have no car, so there you go. Okay, well, that's fair. That's fair. You know what? Ultimately, thanks for submitting. I mean, I think it's great that you've given us that trust to give us that photo. I think that's really nice. And hopefully, there will be themes that, like, I don't have a car myself. My wife uses the car. So I don't get out there and shoot as much as I'd like to. But when I'm out there and if it applies to the theme, that's something that I would consider doing. And that's what best we could ever hope for. So thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And Martin's shot, beautiful. Anything to add on Martin's photo? Yep.
No, I like it how it's, it's a good, from a good perspective, shows the little town down there, nice sunset.
Do you notice a bit of a thick line on the horizon? Is that
I don't know
a processing effect, or is that just natural?
I don't know. Like, I see it and automatically think processing, but it could just be, it's hard to say.
It's either lightening up the trees or darkening the sky.
Yeah.
Or something, but it's minor. Very minor.
Usually, what I would do in a situation like this, because I've tried, like in Lightroom, I've tried the horizontal gradient tool, and it sort of creates that line along there. So what I've started doing, especially when I have a nice crisp background like this, is I'll bring it into Photoshop, create a new layer, and then I'll take the magnetic selection tool and go along the top here, and then go along all here, and take this out as its own layer, and then adjust it, and then actually tuck it down a little bit so it overlaps behind the foreground, right? So there isn't any sort of noticeable break there, and then just crop it along the top a little bit. And that's sort of an effective way I found for editing the sky without having run over of that editing going on to the ground.
That's a good way to do it, because it's so hard to not make that happen. For the editing to bleed and like, even if I've like you say, I've used the gradient tool, and man, it's hard to control that. So.
Yeah, and that's why in the newest version of Lightroom CC 2016, whatever it is, they've actually added a brush for the gradient tool, so that here it's pretty level, but there's a couple hills and a couple sort of mountain peaks, sort of things that jet out where it's going to really show. So you can use the horizontal gradient tool and then go in with a brush and remove it out of the specific areas that you don't want it.
Yeah.
That was a big, largely requested thing.
That's a huge help.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right. Well, thank you. The photo kind of reminds me of looking at a town in the Alps from above on top of a mountain without all the other mountains around. It's like a little nook of a town in the center. It's really neat. Okay. Charity's shot. Now, I got a question. This was shot with a 75-300, and it's at 75 mil, so it's the wide angle of the lens. Now, I'm thinking that Charity posted this before our show, and then, because this was their submission, and I think it was more of thinking of panoramic would be as a landscape photo, not necessarily as a multiple stacked image. So I'm not quite sure if this is just a single shot or if this is actually a merged panoramic. So Charity, if you're watching, maybe you can clarify that for us. What do you think, Gabriel?
That's a good question. There has been some vignetting and stuff added to the side. So it has run through a post-processor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look like a single image.
But that's okay. Again, thanks for submitting the shot.
Yeah.
It's when we're thinking about a panoramic shot, in my brain, the way I'm wired, I'm thinking of there should be foreground, middle, background. You should have some sort of interesting element to lead from one side to the other. Draw your eye into the photo and round it and back out a different way or something along that line. There's been many situations where I'm driving along and I find beautiful trees off in the distance with nice color reflecting in the water, and a scene very much like this, driving through Algonquin or something. And I'll stop to make the shot, but when I get home, I realize that there's really no interesting element that's keeping me into the photo. It's just you look from one side, you kind of go over to the other, and you're out of the shot. Do you know what I mean, Gabe?
Yeah.
Do you feel that from this at all?
Yeah, like I don't really know what the focus is on this shot. I think if I were editing this shot, I would probably try and do some sort of overall vignette where this tree was a little bit lighter than everything else, and it sort of maybe got a little bit darker from there, and made this tree the center focus of it. Or yeah, something like that. I probably also, especially if this was a single shot, I would have tried this as an HDR, because you're losing a lot of, you get a lot of highlights blown out in the water down here and also in the sky. I probably would have tried to pull those out.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. Great, thanks. Martin chimed in. He says that he did use the gradient tool in Lightroom. He did 3 exposures, but only chose 1 and then darkened the sky and lighted the foreground in Martin's shot. So there was a gradient filter used. Good eye on that, Gabe. And and a really interesting way to do it. And I think the tone and the effect really helped the shot. Like I say, it looked like the town in the middle was a little nook, and it was almost like a miniature. You know, it was really neat. Yeah. And the exposure on the mountains and everything in the background, or the trees, I should say, in the background, I think was perfect. It's just there was that one little telltale dark line around the horizon. That's what drew my attention to it. All right, now Charity also submitted some other photos, and I think these might have submitted after the photo challenge or after the last week's show, where she did panoramics with her cell phone. Okay. Which I think is great. Again, this is not a DSLR-only show. We are welcoming photography of all kinds. And the only problem I have here is, on that last shot at least, is like, what is there?
Hold it. Where'd I go? Here we go. So it looks like the docks or something like that.
See, this is where a cell phone has a lot of trouble, isn't it?
Yes.
Dark stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's 4 shots there. So let's, I think the one shot that I wanted to look at was the road traveling. The other road. That road.
That road?
Leading lines draws you right through the shot.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
And I lost it.
Yeah, you'll find it. You got skills.
There we go.
Cool.
Looks like Holland Marsh.
It does, doesn't it? I don't know if it is, though. Anyway, excellent leading line. That road just draws you right through the photo, right to the other side. It's definitely using the pole on the right third is a nice feature in the photo. I do think, though, that because it was a cell phone, exposure went from one extreme to the other. So along the left side, you have a nice blue sky. Along the right side, it's just blown out all white. A little difficult to get that exposure in a camera phone, unless you have Gabriel's, of course, because Gabe's phone has manual exposure lock and stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got all the fun toys.
So with a panoramic, can you lock the exposure so that this doesn't happen?
On the built-in camera app, and that's the other nice thing about phones is that you can get lots of different apps that do different things, right? Mm-hmm. And adds or reduces functionality of your camera. So some give you raw capability, some give you time lapse, some give you all sorts of stuff. I'm sure there is a panoramic one that allows you to do that. I just haven't looked into it yet.
Cool. Very cool. Well, excellent shot. Thank you again. I like the composition in it. Exposure is a little tough, obviously, with a cell phone. It's tough to hone in on proper exposure. In some parts, it's too bright. Some parts, it's too dark. But other than that, I like the composition quite a bit.
Well, and the other option too is to take the pictures, individual pictures, manually from your phone, and then again just merge them together in Lightroom. And actually, if you put Lightroom on your phone, and you have Lightroom CC that you pay monthly for, when you get home and you turn on your phone, all the pictures on your phone will automatically synchronize into Lightroom and be available there. Mm-hmm. So you don't even have to transfer them. You don't have to do anything. You just turn on your phone, launch Lightroom. They all go into Lightroom, and you can just merge them together in a panorama right from there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So many benefits to having Lightroom and Photoshop. I mean, it's $10 a month, really. On the last show, we kind of talked about it, how $10 a month doesn't seem like much to us, but for some people, it's a tough pill to swallow. It's $120 a year, but if I drink coffee, I'd give up coffee for Lightroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, like I grab a few cappuccinos a month, and they're $5.25 each.
There you go. Anywho, I guess it comes down to what your interest is, right? Like if you're not interested in doing a lot of editing, then you get what you get.
Yeah.
This is an interesting photo. This is Robert's shot. To me, this is the perfect way to take a photo of a pier. You've got the right side bordering. There's all kinds of little stories about the people everywhere. You know, every little group of people has their own little story. Along the left side, you have the pier, which is really stretching that pier out and giving the visual of how long the pier could be. With a panoramic merge, I don't see a lot of issues. Maybe along the left, just to the left of the middle, there's a little bit of a band in a break in the trail. Looks like there was some edit done in the sky.
Oh.
Yeah, a little further to the right about there. There's like a break.
It's hard to say because, I mean, that could just be, you know, the trail.
Could be, yeah. But ultimately, I think it's a really nice job. Really nice job. What do you think, Abe?
I agree. I like that, you know, this here is sort of the one thing that looks like it's in the right perspective, and then everything sort of bows off from there. I have mixed feelings about the umbrella. Part of me likes it, and part of me doesn't like it. You know, part of me would want to take a couple steps forward or something like that, or you know, wait till they leave or something, and then part of me kind of likes the umbrella being there. Yeah, but then you're right. You got, you know, a bunch of great little stories just going across. Another person doing photography, other people hanging out. It's nice.
The horizon's nice and straight, and so was the right side.
Yeah,
it's interesting shot. And Robert, I think you did a great job here. And exposure's nice. Looks like you shot with manual exposure and did a good job. Yeah.
Cosine.
Cosine. All right, cool. Let's move along. We've got a couple shots left, and I think we're doing well on time. Okay, so this is Tammy's. Now, Tammy had some troubles with large files that the community helped her out with, and she was finally able to get this up online. Thank you, Blake, for helping. I think you were the big help there, and there might have been someone else as well. I didn't notice. At least it's not in my mind. I don't know if she says in the post that you can read there. But, yeah, great work. Working at a photo. I think that's a big thing that you got to give some people a lot of credit for. Is a lot of folks, when they get into a roadblock, they're trying to edit something, it's not working. They try again, it's not working. Either you give up or you reach out for help. And Tammy did that. So well done, Tammy. Thanks for going that extra effort to make your photo posted. I do have a few questions about the shot, though. It looks like there is some exposure differences in this. Like a real hot spot along the right side, darkness in the sky. So I don't know if that was a gain through processing or the merging or an effect you were trying for. But
see, that's the thing. Instagram has totally destroyed us as photographers, because that could just be, you know, a well shot, bad processed photo. It could be no fault of our own. It could just be that's the way Photoshop did it, or it could be an Instagram filter that's supposed to make it look like it was shot through a camera with a light leak. So, you know.
No, it's true. That's absolutely valid. But I'm going to go out on a hunch here and say, again, polarized filter was in play.
Yeah, I think something, because if you look here, this whole section here looks like there's some contrast lost in there, even on that section of the tree and stuff. And that's why we did a show on Panorama, because, you know, when you hear Panorama, you're like, oh, well, I'll just, you know, one thing you learned from last week's show is you turn the camera vertically to get more of the shot, and you just bam, 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 then you get them back in the Lightroom, and you're like, oh, it's not that simple. So, yeah, it can be a really tricky thing to master.
But ultimately, again, what's really great about a photo like this is it makes somebody like Byron pipe up and say, that is incredible, Tammy. I see this place every day, and yet this photo makes me see it in a completely different way. Super job. So there you go. You know, you have to make the photos. You have to put them out there. It'll touch somebody. And whether it's perfect, quote unquote, perfect or not, sometimes that doesn't matter all that much. In fact, that's one of my DigiKnows I'm going to be doing is perfect isn't perfect. Because sometimes, you know, it's not all about being the sharpest or the perfect shot. As long as it touches you and it tells a story, that's what matters. All right, let's move along.
Ooh.
Rosemary. Now here is a very interesting shot. Exposure is great. Oh, hang on a
Norway.
second. Tammy just made a post. She says, hey, the sky was crazy. I don't know why. I think it was because one side is in shade and the other was in sun, because the sun is setting behind her. Several did at that sunset, but none when the light was the same on both sides. So again, that kind of makes me think, was it on auto exposure, like an aperture priority mode or a shutter priority, or were you in full manual exposure? Because if the camera's adjusting from one to the other, then that may cause a little bit of inconsistency in the photos.
Yeah.
But Tammy, if you could let us know about what program mode you were shooting on, that would just help the discussion. Again, no right or wrong. It just help the discussion. So let's check out Rosemary's again. Excellent
Beautiful.
comments on her posts. I like Joe's comment. What? No Vikings? Yeah, because this is in Norway, so typical, perfect Viking location. Here's a thought. I think this is a really interesting photo, and I think there's going to be one that crops up in a second that'll kind of pin on my point a little bit. Normally, we like to see the foreground and the detail, and I think having that mountain is key. But I'm finding the front foreground, the rock, the beach, to be a little bit distracting. Maybe if we were standing at the front of the beach and use the water as the foreground and pan across. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
So, basically walk closer to the edge of the water and shoot from there and go from right to left. And then you'll still get the mountain on the right, and you'll see all the vista around the other side. I just don't know if that foreground is helping or hurting the shot.
I think if this rock was back here and big,
Yeah.
right, then it would be helping a lot more.
But then it would be competing with the big mountain.
Right, but one of the quote unquote rules about landscape photography is always have something big in the foreground.
Mm.
Right, but I guess when you have something that big in the background.
And in line with each other, like.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. It would be right underneath there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it'd be you don't want that.
So that's why I was thinking, just walk like straight until you get to the water, and then look to your left, and then you have that whole vista that you can just shoot as whatever panel you want. I mean, please jump on a plane right now. Go to Norway.
I was just gonna say, go back, take the picture again.
That's not going to happen. But a beautiful location. And I think this is one of those moments that being there, you're awed by the experience. And I want to have that same sense of awe. And that foreground is just kind of making me think like I'm at Lake Ontario a little bit. And I'm not really getting the feel of the mountains. Does that?
Well, even if it were to be cropped just along there, right, just above that rock, then that would do a lot of what you were saying.
You're right. Yep. But beautiful shot, and the exposure is great. The detail on that mountain on the right is fantastic.
Yeah.
You can even zoom in and see the detail on the little island straight ahead. The islands in the background, they're actually snow-capped by the looks of it.
Nice.
Amazing shot. And just the detail you get, and the location itself is so beautiful that, no matter what I say, it's still a really neat shot. Cool.
Yeah, we're just slamming it because we're jealous.
Yeah. And then there's that. Yeah. Tammy says the other thing she found is that it's really hard to edit the panoramas. Even after she merged the layers down into one, they don't seem to behave like a single photo does. Any advice? Any thoughts?
Yeah, merge visible. So go to the layers panel, select all your layers, drag them down to the folder icon. It'll create a new folder with all those layers in it. And then there should be, if I remember correctly, the original copy will still be there. If not, just copy all those layers and make another copy of them outside of that folder. And turn the visibility of that folder off. And then select all the remaining layers and right-click and do Merge Visible. And that will turn all those layers, it'll merge them all into one layer. And the reason why you create the folder with a copy of all those layers is just in case you messed up on something, you can go back and adjust a layer individually, and then go back and copy them again. Usually you don't ever have to do that, but it's good to have that fallback just in case. So select all the layers that you want to merge, right click and do merge visible, and then when you adjust the contrast on one, it'll adjust it on everything because it sees it as one layer.
Very cool. And Tammy, if you don't remember all that, then as soon as our show's over, you can rewind to this point and watch it back again, because sometimes you got to do it. You got to rewind. You got to rewind.
Just remember, it's about 45 minutes in.
Yeah, good tip. Good tip. All right, let's have a look at the next photo.
Let's.
Shall we? We've only got two left.
Two.
We're right on time tonight, Gabe.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, yeah, another beautiful panoramic here from Rhonda. Now here, this is the shot I was referring to. You've got the mountains in the background. You've got the craggy rocks in the foreground. But because it's looking straight onto the mountain, and you're seeing it left and right, the foreground to me actually works. It's keeping me in the shot. It's telling a different story. It's bordering the edge of the water. And then as you look deeper into it, there's a lot of other information. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Can we...
maybe I'm being picky. I don't know.
See if I can zoom in. No. There's
a little bit of zoom, not a whole lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's fantastic. You know, they always say center is deadly. But, you know, for this, it works out perfectly because you're getting some of the peripheral vision in there.
Mm-hmm.
I like the reflection, how it's, you know, most of it is pretty still. So you can see the reflection of the mountain in there.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. One quick sec. No EXIF info, so I can't see what the shutter was, just out of curiosity, but it doesn't look like it's any super, super, super long exposure. Plus, it's on a sunny day.
Yeah.
There is a bit of a curvature to the sky, but the horizon's nice and straight. It's a really nice big feel without it looking distorted, you know?
What I would even try with a picture like this, because if you had, let's say it was a calmer day,
mm-hmm.
right? This would be absolutely stunning. So I'd probably even select the mountain out, flip it over, line it up with what's there, and then reduce the opacity so that it would look like the wind was stiller than it was, more still than it was, but it wouldn't. You know, you can tell when somebody's just, you know, flipped a picture over to create that mirror effect. But you can do it in a way where it looks nice and subtle and very natural.
Mm-hmm. That would be neat, you know, having a true mirror, but I love the shot.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just looking at ways that, you know, if I look at a picture, every now and then I'll pull up a picture in Lightroom and I'll say, okay, this is a good picture, but I want to find a way to spend 4 hours on it. You know? Well, no, because sometimes when I'm done, I'm like, wow, this is absolutely crap, but oh my God, did I learn a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, like if I look at it and say, okay, I want to learn how to do this. Well, maybe by the time I'm done, I'm like, you know what, this is terrible. I should have never done it. But when I come to a wedding photo where I have to do that in order to save the photo, or I come to something else where I need to do it, you know, then I have it in my mental memory bank on how to do that.
Really? That's a good point. Cool. Rhonda says the original image was 54 meg. Just a little file. Just a little file. A lot of shots. They add up fast, that's for sure. But excellent exposure right across from left to right. The left sky is no darker or brighter than the right sky. The exposure on the ground is nice and even. The green isn't overdone so that it's oversaturated or too much vibrance in the blues. The detail in the mountains in the very back corners, you can still see that they're snow-capped. And the center right, it's a pretty neat shot. Very good job, and thank you so much, Rhonda.
Ditto.
All right, one shot left, and this is from Grant.
If you see me continuously muting my microphone, it's to blow my nose.
Oh no!
So we had a fantastic weekend camping, but it was very wet.
Uh-oh.
And so I'm getting over a little bit of the wet camping day blues.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I thought you were mocking me. I just kept on talking when I saw that.
Yeah, I'm just, going out, washing the car, making some pasta.
Mute it. Brian, God, that Brian guy talks so much.
No.
All right, good. Thank you. So here is the last photo of the day. As Rhonda says, she can taste the wine now. it's interesting, the lines of a winery and the fields of the winery are always so interesting to look at, and the detail you get from the grass and the fields. Excellent stuff. I'm just not getting what's the word I'm looking for? Perspective.
I think if it was, I feel bad, and I don't want people like, I'm not the Simon Cowell of this show. I feel bad criticizing anything, but I think it's important to point out, certain areas that can be improved upon, and I enjoy it when people do it to my photography.
Mm-hmm.
I feel even worse pinpointing things that could have been done differently on travel photography.
Yeah,
because it's like, well, that picture that you took at the corner store down the road, it would have been better if you shot it from over there. Oh, good, I'll just go do that now.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think that these words come lightly to me. But with this picture here, if it had been shot from just a few steps to the right, so you could see all the way down this aisle here, and then this aisle would have looked a little bit on an angle, and this aisle would have looked like a bit on an angle, then it would have given that, when you're driving down in a car and you look down the rows of corn going by, one of them is always straight up, in front of you, it would have given that sort of feel to it.
I agree 100%. That's what I was looking for. How would you shoot this at a different angle or something to have the eye flowing through it differently? The background is nice. It's just
absolutely. It's gorgeous.
I totally get your point. I love that point. Okay, I'm just distracted. Tammy just posted, thanks for the tip on manual too. Really appreciate it. Must have missed that last week's show, which was awesome, by the way. Thank you, Tammy. You're awesome. It's true. Shooting in manual exposure makes a huge difference. That way you don't get one where the camera is really reacting to shadow and making things bright, and one where it's really reacting to the sky and making things dark. So shooting in manual exposure is pretty important. All right, so that was Grant's shot. Anything else to add on that? I loved your tip on, possibly moving a little bit to the side there so you can get those aisles differently.
Yeah, no, I think I've torn that down enough. I feel bad enough already.
Gabriel, I've been accused of being too nice when it comes to reviews.
So I am the Simon Cowell. It's crap. It's just crap. I don't know why Simon Cowell has a Scottish accent, and I don't know why that was a Scottish accent, but
it worked. But when we're trying, you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said that we're trying to help. We're trying to give some tips that would make people think outside the box a little bit. Like with Tammy, maybe she didn't watch last week's show where we talked about shoot manual, and the next time she does that, I know, right? Shame on. Well, she watched it. You watched it. We must have just brushed over a little too quickly. That's all.
Oh, okay. And like I always say, if you agree with my critiques, you are right. If you disagree with my critiques, you are right.
There you go. All right, cool. So you don't need to screen share anymore unless you're blowing your nose.
Yes,
you do, because we've got to pick a winner.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yes, you do. Okay, so the winner...
in the kitchen pouring some pineapple juice.
Okay, well, take your time.
No, I'm back.
Oh, you're back already?
I'm back already. Yep. I'm like a ninja. Actually, every country has ninjas. We just know about the Chinese ones because they're rubbish.
What? What?
Never mind.
Did I miss something?
Yeah, it's a.
I always
joke.
Okay. Yeah, jokes. I have a hard time with those. Okay, so the winner of this week's photo challenge wins this lovely Lens Pen Moneymaker kit.
Shake your moneymaker. There you go.
Okay, cool. So the winner of this week's weekly photo challenge, bi-weekly photo challenge, it's 2 weeks, goes to Robert Schindelheim for your picture of the boardwalk. It's the use of the panoramic to accentuate the boardwalk, to actually work with the environment, and to, your exposure was good, the merging was good, the stories were good. The umbrella thing, I don't know. It didn't really strike me as odd, but, Gabriel makes a good point. Maybe it's something that we got to think about. Yeah, really, really nice photo. Great exposure. Great job with the merge. Well done, Sir Robert. Good job, Roberto. All right, so that's it for the photo challenge this week. We have a new photo challenge.
Hates it when people call him that.
No, actually, he likes it.
Darn it! I thought I was going to get you.
It's his real name, apparently. Roberto. Awesome. Okay, so screen sharing is done. Thank you so much.
All right.
You don't have to. I mean, the photos look fantastic too, but you always look better, Gabriel. There you go. Shake your money maker. All right, so thank you everybody so much for submitting for our photo challenge. The photo challenge for this week. Now I said next week is your favorite photo. Next challenge, I should say, is your favorite photo. This week, the photo challenge is is black and white portrait. So the photo challenge for this coming 2 weeks is black and white portrait. So get out there, make your new black and white portrait photos. You can shoot in black and white if you want to, or you can flip it in post-production. But it's a portrait shot in black and white. I'd love to see what you guys have to do. Sorry, just trying to think here. All right, so black and white portrait, that's the photo challenge. Thank you everybody so much for submitting for this week's photo challenge. It was awesome. Panorama was a lot of fun. I'm sure you guys had a great time. Hopefully you all learned something. And I know I did. I always learn something on these shows. I learned that, Navi likes to watch the show. That's a lot of fun. And all right, so that's pretty much it. It's 10:30. The show is pretty much over tonight. If anybody has anything else to add, please feel free to post your comment in the Q&A, and we will address that before we say goodnight. Bonnie says, congratulations, Robert. And to everyone who submitted such great photos this week, I agree. And yeah, Mark, we all love that joke. That was a good one. I don't remember which joke.
The ninja one, I think.
Oh, the ninja one. So I'm the only one that doesn't get jokes, apparently.
Yes.
All right. It's like pulling dinosaur teeth. I know, right? Okay, thank you everybody for watching this show this week. Gabriel, I didn't even ask, what are you up to? Like, can people? Are you busy right now? Are you shooting a lot? What's going on?
Yeah, well, I've started a company. Basically, I just shoot weddings with my phone now. So that's all I do now. Is weddings, newborn photography. It's just all with my phone. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I'm loving the phone because it's a fun new toy, but I'm also loving my my real gear. And just shooting. The nice thing about being an event photographer is once you get hired for a birthday party, then you get hired for bridal shower, and then you get hired for the wedding, and then you get hired for the baby shower, then you get hired for the maternity pictures, and you get hired for the first birthday, and you kind of actually, I get emails from customers and they're like, hey, how's it going? It's like talking to an old friend because we're with these families at all their special events. Mm-hmm. So it's I've been doing a lot of that lately, and it's been really fun to kind of, you just kind of pop it in. How's everybody in the family doing? How's everybody in the family doing? It's kind of fun to keep up with everybody that way.
And you've got that perfect personality for that too. Like the minute you'd walk into the room, everybody's like, Gabe's here. It's always a good time.
I just grab my gear and say, who are you?
Back off. Get your own sandwich.
Where's the food?
Great wedding photographer. Shows up with his phone asking for food. All right. Well, thank you again, as always, for being on tonight, Gabe. And hopefully we'll see Navi next week on the show. And you know what? There's going to be a lot of cool stuff that goes on in the next couple of weeks. Did you know, Gabriel, that September 19th was our very first show? Show number 0.
I did not know that.
It'll be 3 years that we've done this show this coming September 19th. We're talking just a few weeks away. It will be our 3rd anniversary.
It's a long time.
It is a long time. And you know what? You and me, kid, we've been here from the beginning. It's awesome.
Yeah. We're the survivors.
Dude, I'm not going to sing. But, the survivors are the people that are still watching.
Once. Come on, you can sing.
I'm a survivor. No, I'm not going to sing.
Don't sing.
Please don't. All right, so but it's very cool. So for the 3rd anniversary, we're going to ask some of our past guests to come back on, and we're going to do some photo sharing and talk about how our lives have changed since we started the show 3 years ago, and 3 years ago when they were on our show or whenever, what have they done since then? So it should be a lot of fun. Make sure you guys watch the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, next week we're going to do our photo, our theme next week. It will be something very cool, I'm sure. I'll tell you about that later. And, oh, look, it's Dixie. Finally, the cat shows up for one of our shows.
There you go.
There she is. That's always a highlight of my show. Okay.
Just quick screen share. Speaking of singing, this is on our way to the camping site. You can see there's almost enough room for humans in that car, and and this is what Jaden looks like when Mommy and Daddy, or as I call them, the parental units, are singing Michael Bolton at the top of their lungs.
He's not the only one that would do that. I'm sorry.
There's an actual pained look on his face. I love it.
Oh, yeah, you love it. You're
such a success as a parent.
There are actually laws about being able to see out your back window. I don't know if you know about these things.
Not if you have two side mirrors.
Oh. Isn't that why they put the rear view camera in cars?
For backing up?
Yeah, no, it's actually totally illegal.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we retired the 15-person tent. Seems how there's 3 of us, and we don't need a 15-person tent. And so this camping trip was this last camping trip, and we went and picked up a 4-person tent and a 2-person tent. And so it's going to take up much less room now.
Well, that's great. Oh, speaking of your tent, did you happen to see the post that I shared with you? Oh, geez.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Sorry, she climbed up on me. Yeah, somebody was interested in your
like an angry squid.
There's nothing angry about her. Anyway, yeah, so check your Facebook because I tagged you in.
Oh, thank you.
Somebody wants to buy that tent, so.
Oh, they do?
Possibly, yeah.
Yay. Okay, awesome.
Hey, I'm there for you, buddy. Okay, so thank you, everybody, for watching, and make sure you watch our show next week. And remember, the photo challenge is black and white portrait. Have you all a great week. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Like, subscribe. Tell the world, Ma. Talk to y'all next week. Bye-bye.
Whiskey rules.